Hello, it's Adam and Sam from Cultaholic Wrestling, and just a few hours removed from CM Punk's AEW debut, new details regarding his AEW contract and so much more have emerged. It's time to talk about it, so here's the headlines. We also have an update on Asuka's WWE absence, Kenny Omega looks to be finished with Impact Wrestling, and Buddy Murphy's new ring name has been revealed. So I'm sure we've all watched the CM Punk debut about 50 times now. I know we have. We've been sat here for a while just smiling quite a lot. During the show, AEW and CM Punk putting out a statement that simply reads, the following statement was released today by CM Punk through AEW President and GM Tony Khan of All Elite Wrestling in response to questions about his future career plans. I'm back. End of video, see you later. No, we've got way more because there was a media scrum following the show tonight which has told us so much more. We've got loads and loads of bullet points to get through here. We're not going to spend too much time on any individual bullet point, but there's a lot to digest. Big thank you, by the way, to Sean Rossap of Fightful, Alex McCarthy of Talk Sport, and various other journalists who were involved in the scrum who have summarised some of this stuff. We've put it all together in a nice, concise way. We're going to go through it now. Sam, let's take turns.
I was going to say, shall we bounce back and forth? Yes, okay. So Punk said that they've been talking about it for about 18 months, and Tony Khan indicated that there wasn't really consideration to bring Punk back without fans, and this gave them a lot of time to talk, while everything has been happening in the world.
CM Punk not wanting to give details of his contract, but he then gave some details of his contract, saying it's not a part-time thing. I think we knew that by the way that he was talking in the promo, saying that he was going to be there for pay-per-views. He's obviously there on Dynamite next week. Then Tony Khan chimed in and said that he's going to be doing it for a while. So we don't have specific length, but he's going to be here for the foreseeable future.
He also said that mentioning Britt Baker as his first words in the promo was by design, and he knew his first promo in 7 years would be important, and he wanted to put her over.
He's done 2 in one night. He put Darby over super strong and Britt Baker, and I'm sure he will continue.
Didn't give Sting a look in, though.
No, he was very grumpy in the rafters. But apparently Sting and Punk had a chat backstage. Sting is very happy to be working with Punk. CM Punk is asked to compare the difference between the moments in Chicago, Money in the Bank 2011, and tonight in 2021. And a really, quite surprising answer. He said, this one was more organic. This one didn't feel like a job. And considering how special that moment, how real it felt to all of us, that's a bit of a shocker.
He also said he hasn't been doing any dedicated in-ring training. He said he's been working out to get into his best shape, but he considers wrestling more like riding a bike, and he wants it again to be authentic.
Fair play. I mean, he looks great.
Oh God, yeah.
We'll see it all out, of course. He said that he didn't have to prove anything, or AEW didn't have to prove anything to sign him. It was about him being open to the idea and to dip his toe in and see. And then he continued saying, "This is all Renee Paquette's fault because she, of course, got him to do WWE backstage." And he caught the bug.
He also said that he's sure he'll do a bit of everything like commentary and wrestling, and he wants to give back to wrestling as a whole. He wasn't in the place to wrestle for the last few years, but wasn't able to give back 4 years. So. Good
to hear him saying he's healthy and happy and in the right place to do this.
And that's exactly what you want, right?
Yeah, too right, because you're going to get the best work out of it, without a doubt. He continued and said that actually this whole thing, we knew it was coming, and I guess that's why they kicked off the show with it. It was the worst kept secret by design. They wanted it that way. Surprises and anticipation of wrestling can still happen, even in that case, and he's happy that they didn't advertise it.
He also said that he wasn't hidden backstage tonight at Rampage, and he was backstage socialising with the roster before the show, just living it up. If this was NXT, there would have been pictures of him all over the shop.
Too right. CM Punk naming a few of his dream opponents, some less than surprising names, actually. Jungle Boy, Kenny Omega, the current AEW champion, Young Bucks, and he also said, who knows who else is coming? Well, Tony probably knows.
He said that he hasn't had a problem with anyone today when asked if he smoothed anything over with AEW wrestlers that he's had issues with.
What are they getting out there? Who could that possibly be? And he's also talked about the possibility of appearing in other promotions, but Punk said he's an AEW guy. He has the freedom to continue doing MMA commentary, as well as other things. And then he said, if Tony tells me that he wants me to go and do the G1, we'll talk about it.
please go and do the G1. Tony, just send him now. Just put him in a box, send him. He also said that Tony Khan had the idea to do a program with Darby Allin, and Punk says that if he was a teenager, Darby would be his favourite wrestler, and he does not want to take Darby's suicide dive.
Cannot blame him at all. After the show went off the air, after all the baby faces celebrating in the ring, Darby Allin took the mic and just said a few words. This flipping company changed my life, and after All Out, everybody will know my name. CM Punk, it will be an honour. Lot to digest there, to digest. We will move swiftly on. A quick update on the WWE absence of one Asuka, who we haven't seen wrestle since Money in the Bank. Wrestling Observer newsletter, they say, for those asking about Asuka, she's fine. She's just not being used for anything right now. Creative have no plans for Asuka. Baffling.
Yeah, like what?
I guess she's on Raw, and you've got the triple threat match coming out. They didn't want to make it a fatal four-way, get involved in that picture.
But you can surely do something with Asuka, because Asuka's one of the best things about your entire roster.
Of course, but I think the draft, the upcoming draft, will benefit Asuka greatly.
Sure.
You'd hope so. Next up, it looks as though Kenny Omega might be finished with Impact Wrestling. Of course, he dropped the title to Christian Cage very recently. Wrestling Observer again. There's also the issue of how long Omega can go at this level with all of his injuries that would probably require surgery and an extended layoff. But he's working through these injuries because of his position in AEW and the wider wrestling universe. It does appear that Omega's commitments to Impact are now completed, with that title being switched. Makes sense.
I still wouldn't be surprised if we saw him pop up every now and then, if this whole kind of thing starts.
I'd be surprised, because you don't want to build to him. If he's working hurt, if he's beat up, you don't want to put any pressure. Maybe like as a run-in or something. Like a run-in, backstage stuff.
Yeah, not like any sort of long drawn-out stories or feuds, just kind of popping in.
As long as we continue to get him and Don Callis, I'll be a happy boy. And another note on Kenny Omega: the reason that he retained the AAA Mega title at Triple Mania. Wrestling Observer once again. In the end, there was talk the last day about going with Andrade. Dorian Roldan made the call with Khan in the loop to keep the title on Omega. Among the reasons was that Andrade had not agreed for a return date, so they didn't want to put the belt on Andrade because he's not contracted to do any more appearances or matches. So that
makes perfect sense.
Yeah, for sure. But I think Kenny is, after dropping the Impact title, is going to start dropping those titles.
Yeah, you've got to kind of diminish it back down to just the AEW belt, and then it's, at that point it's like precious, and he's got to hold on to it.
And then Hangman takes it away, of course. You know what? I think, and I hope I'm proven wrong. Maybe I think it's a predictable storyline, but sometimes predictable storylines are sensible storylines, and I think it's going to be great.
And it's all in how it's told, regardless of whether you've heard the story 100 times.
Yeah, exactly. We all knew that CM Punk was turning up tonight, but we still had a great time watching it.
Exactly.
And finally, Buddy Murphy's new name has been revealed. He's released another one of those teasy videos over on Twitter and Instagram. He is in prison, but he's revealed that his name going forward will be Buddy Matthews. He's sticking with the BM. BM.
BM also stands for bowel movement.
Thanks very much for watching. We've been Adam and Sam, and that is your video. Buddy's 90-day non-compete. In seriousness
though, Buddy Murphy, he's going to be a credit to wherever he ends up.
He's doing a good job. He's doing
that awkward Mysterio run toward the end. It's just.
Oh, we know how talented he is. I mean, to keep the hype to the level that he's kept it is very, very impressive. An odd day to drop the video, considering everything's going on in the wrestling world. Maybe you should have waited a few more days for it to die down a bit. But there you go. Good luck to Buddy Matthews. That's us. We've got one more news video coming, a few more stories to get through, so stay tuned for that. And cheers. Much appreciated. All the best. Goodbye. Sweet dreams. Good night.